Alright, we are live, I think. I hope so. I once again have not much of an idea of what I'm doing. I, for the first time, started the stream from YouTube actually and not from OBS, so I'm hoping that I'm doing this right. Of course, I know there's a latency, so I'm just gonna wait and hope that people will pop up in the chat and let me know if you can hear me, if the music is too loud, because this time I actually have music. So we're gonna see. Okay. Oh, I see Clyde. Hello, welcome. Good morning, Asia server. Yeah, good morning to you. Little Mango Art, hello. And there's Reverb Crows. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me and if the music is too loud. I tried to figure it out in advance, but yeah, I'm not really an expert when it comes to streaming, so I can only hope that I did everything right. So your feedback would be very, very helpful. And of course, as usual, I'm gonna wait a little bit to make sure that everyone who wants to join from the beginning can get the notifications. For once, I did not start that late. Like, I almost started on time, which is surprising. Oh, hello, Nabnu Big Boy. Jello, Big Boy is here. Well, hello, it's nice to see you again. Leon Ikijani says, hello Saigami, let's draw. Oh yeah, I am gonna draw. I'm just gonna do the first couple minutes of waiting time. I know that's kind of boring, but it kind of allows me to find my groove with this whole, you know, talking and, well, not being on camera, but being live. Because, oh yeah, and there are the dogs too, so yeah. Emmett says hi. I tried my best to bribe him with some treats, but he decided that he doesn't want that. Instead, he wants to bark at the chickens, so sorry. He probably will bark a bit more during the stream. I'm trying to, like, handle him, but, yeah. Little Mango says, sound is great. Okay, that's good to know. Clyde says, audio is good. It just seems to feel like the music is a bit lower on volume. There's some white pitch in the music. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure if the music is like properly recorded through the PC or is it just the mic picking up the music. I like try to like set it in a way that it will like be streamed from my PC and not through the microphone. And I'm not sure if I did it right. So yeah, I also have the music volume lower because I know I tend to mumble a little bit, especially once I will be drawing. I don't always like catch myself when I'm talking and I might not be hovering over the microphone when I do that. So I figured lowering the volume of the music can help a little bit to make sure that like the music isn't louder than me and you can't hear me. So yeah. Of course, if it's annoying or if it's disturbing, then I can fiddle around with it. I just had a hard time figuring these things out. Like, it's much easier when I actually have live feedback. So yeah. Next time I will be more prepared, but even in the meantime I can fiddle around with the volume a little bit, of course. Nothing Like Danger says, hi, well, hello, nice to see you again. Crow says, and his new groove. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Hi, Emmett. Yep, well, Emmett is now outside because he really wanted to bark at the chickens. So he's gonna stay out there for a little bit. Spider Little Eggman says, what's poppin'? And Emma's just having a busy day and I figured might as well stream. So here we are again. Big Boy says, Emmett has returned with the godly barks. Woof woof. Oh yeah, he just won't shut up. He's been a very naughty boy all day. A lot of barking, so not too happy with him. But you know, dogs will be dogs, so there's that. Alright, I'm trying to find my drawing glove. I have no idea where it is. My table is kind of a mess. I've been recording a video earlier, which required me to like move things around a little bit, and now I have no idea where my stuff is. Alright, found it. Now I can draw. Yay! Alright, so of course, as usual, our rules are on the screen. I'm gonna change the screen right away, but just a quick rundown. Sorry about the noises, you probably will hear more than just barks. Pugs are very, very noisy. If you have any questions or comments, just put them in the chat, and I will do my best to keep up with the chat and answer questions. And if you're talking to someone else in the chat, I would appreciate if you would use an @ and their username, so I know that you're talking to someone else and not necessarily to me. And of course, you know, be kind, be respectful. Let's all have some good time here. So yeah, I am gonna switch over to drawing. I am gonna be working on some commissions. Well, I'm not sure if I will be able to tackle more than just one, but I will try my best. I have a RWBY commission that I need to finish. I have a sketch for it right now. It's a Hercules-inspired Bumblebee fan art, so this is super fun to work on. And I will need to ink and color this. It's long overdue, so I'm trying to do my best to catch up on this. And yeah, this is what I will be working on first, and if I can finish this fast, then I might start doing a different commission completely from scratch. But we'll see how fast I can do this. I'm not sure. So we're gonna find out. Alrighty. Hold on. I need to let out the other dog as well. Alright. Pugs are outside. Now it's just me and you guys and the cats, but they are asleep. Alright. Quick peek at the comments. Young Baby the Artist says, hey, how is it going, Sunny? Oh, hello, nice to see you here. It's good. Trying to catch up on work. Had a pretty busy day and still a lot to do, so yeah. Big Boy says, also I got the How to Draw Diverse manga today. Woo! Oh, good for you. Yeah, enjoy it. I have a whole page in it. I contributed a whole page. Enjoy. Alright, so I am gonna play around with my layers here. First of all, I'm gonna put my sketches in a folder, so I can just lower the opacity of the folder. Then I'm gonna create another folder, and that's gonna be my ink layer. The False Hero says, spicy art! Oh, you haven't seen my spicy art yet. I mean, you probably have, because, yeah, you're on my Patreon, so you've probably seen my spiciest stuff. But yeah, you know, it's just a little bit of a surprise kiss in the artwork. We stand. It's actually kind of funny, because this commission is, like, basically redrawing a screenshot from Hercules, but as Bumblebee from RWBY. I even have like the reference image, so I can move that here, that like, this is the scene I'm drawing, but with Blake and Yang from RWBY, so this is kind of fun. Sometimes with commissions, it's like, you know, kind of funny, because sometimes I get commissioned to draw like something that almost feels like tracing, because like, you know, it's like, say, it's this screenshot but with some changes and all, so I'm always like, okay, this is gonna be easy for me, but at the same time, you know, it's like, normally when I draw fan art, when I try to come up with something, I always try to come up with like original composition. So, you know, sometimes I feel like, oh my god, this is so cheaty. Like, this is too easy for me. But at the same time, like, it's also super fun. Like I did a few stuff like this before. Like I did one with Bumblebee where I was basically redrawing a screenshot from Fairy Tail with them. And you know, it's just easy and fun drawing. So the fact that I got commissioned to do this is like good for me. Always happy to draw the bees. Crow says, "Dang, I'm liking the Bumblebee fan art so far." I'm glad you like it. I will try my best to make this look really nice. I know I will have some fun with the colors. Because I want to change the colors a little bit to match the girls' color patterns, because, you know, RWBY, it's all about the colors. So that's what I'm gonna do. But actually, I'm gonna move my reference image because I don't really need this right now for the inking. So yeah, we're just gonna go back here. Especially since I'm working on like a tiny tablet right now. I've been reviewing an XP Pen tablet for one of my next videos, and it's a tiny one, like it's 10 inches of a screen, so it's so tiny. But I did not want to go through the whole hassle of like setting up my bigger tablet so I can draw on that, so I'm just gonna draw on this little guy here, and it's just so tiny. It's like a baby tablet, and oh my god. but yeah, some of my habits are not so well fit on this smaller screen, so I will have to figure things out as I go. Okay, I'm gonna look at the comments real quick, and then I'm gonna start inking, because that's why we're here. Savage Bearer says, "Sunny!" Well, hello, nice to see you here. Youngie says, "I'm also working on a stockpile of commissions this week." Oh, Godspeed, good luck. The False Hero says, "Yep, I've seen it." Oh, yeah, okay, then you know it. Yep. Crow says, "Weak ankles." Oh yeah. God, I love Hercules. Like, oh, it's one of my favorite Disney movies. Spider the Legman, draw on one layer, I dare you. I did that before, like, did some challenges and like studies on how to. I would not do that with commissions. Like, I feel like sometimes it's like a fun challenge to move yourself out of your comfort zone, but you know, when it comes to work, I'm not making my thing harder, so definitely not gonna do that this time. Alright, where do I want to start? I may flip the canvas and start thinking like that, yeah. 12, yeah, let's go with a 12. Alright, I'm gonna zoom in probably a bit more since the size of the tablet. Yeah, this is my rotation, okay. So some stuff might be a little bit wonky in this video, but at the same time, you know, this is really good tablet, so it's actually interesting to test it with a live stream as well. Little Mangor says, "Thank you for a CSV update video. It made things much clearer." Oh, you're welcome. I'm really happy to help with that. Like, that's literally why I made the video, because, you know, I saw the news, I saw people getting upset, and I kind of moved on because, you know, I was like, well, you know my point. I'm okay to pay for the update if it's something good, and if it's something that's not of my interest, I'm just not gonna get the upgrade pass until it's something worth investing for. And then I just kept seeing these stupid things like, you know, boycott Clip Studio and people just like spreading false information, like especially on platforms like TikTok and Twitter. And it was just like maddening how many people were just generating panic and people were freaking out, and it was over something that like wasn't true, or just like, you know, a fraction of the truth. Like, some people were legit making posts on like, oh, now it will be subscription only and you can't even use the software, which is not true. So I just snapped and I made that video in like a couple hours. it's one of my most controversial videos. Like, I don't think any of my videos received as many downvotes as that one, which is like so funny. Like, you can be salty and download my video, it still doesn't change the truth. So, and also there was some really heated argument in there. Like, I was just like trying to keep up with the comments, and I was doing my best to answer everything, but at one point, some parts of the conversation turned into like super juvenile, just throwing shit at each other, and I'm like, no, I'm not here for this. Yep, that doesn't look right. Anyway, like, I saw like other videos, like some people made videos that were like against Clip Studio, and some were like spreading pretty toxic things. But at the same time, it was really nice to see some YouTubers I actually follow who also made videos. For example, Brad Colbo, whose tablet reviews and tech reviews I really like. And he also made a video on Clip Studio, and it was like so satisfying to see that his video basically was sharing every point I made, and you know, it's just good to know that like I'm not the only one who feels this way. And yep, you know, in the end, people can do whatever they want. Like, I don't care if people switch over to Krita. I'm not here to like promote Clip Studio or anything. It's just, I just wanted to make sure that like if I can contribute to some people better understanding the situation and not panic over something that's not necessarily worth panicking over for, then I can do my part. So yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, normally I might want to keep the line arts on separate layers, but like I'm not sure if I will. I probably will do separate layers for the hairs and the characters, but not necessarily for the faces. Crow's asking, that's so weird. I assume some people just didn't watch it. Like, yeah, which is like so funny for me. Like, how can you start an argument over something that you're not informed yourself of? Like there was a comment that was just like, oh, this is not true, and just like, you know, telling how I'm wrong, and it's like, dude, I literally said the controversy in the video. Like, you literally haven't watched the video and it shows. So, you know, let the internet be like that. People don't read things, they don't watch things, they just make their own conclusion based on whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. It's just very telling that like it's not the professionals who are complaining about these things. And you know, I understand, like, obviously someone who's professional or a full-time artist probably isn't worried as much about software fees as like someone who's not making money with their art or is coming from not well of a background. So I understand that, but at the same time, you know, A, it's business, B, it's a service, and I think it's just normal that a service is to be paid for, especially if it's a service that you use for your work. It's a service you profit off of. You know, it's not charity in the end, and I think some people were just really, really spoiled about the whole we got free updates for years, which was incredible, but in the long run, software development and heck, even just software maintaining is like super expensive. So I think it was just inevitable that eventually there's gonna be changes. Okay, I need to let the dogs in because they're scratching at the door, so I will be right back. Alright, part 1 and part 2. Everybody move to the couch. Or you can be under the table too, yeah. You can be there. Alright, I'm back. Nora decided to be under my desk, so you might hear her snoring. She can be really, really loud. Why are you crying? You literally have a treat in your mouth. Why are you crying? Emmett is the biggest crybaby ever. That's how he assures dominance. He cries. Let's see. WCO Anime is asking, how did you get started with drawing comics and manga? I just started it. Before I was drawing comics, manga, everything, I was writing stories. Mind you, this was when I was like, 11, 12, 13 years old. I just couldn't really do it. And then I found some Naruto chapters online. This was my first time getting into manga. Before that, that's actually not true. Like, I seen some Dragon Ball chapters before as manga, but I didn't really get into it back then because probably I was too young. Like, this was around when I was like ages like 9-ish, and I was not appreciating comics that much. I was more into like the anime. But then when I was 14, I saw the Naruto manga, and I just really got hooked on it. I felt like that, okay, maybe this is what I'm missing with my writing, because maybe it's just so much easier to like draw things than writing, which is not true. That was a big fat lie. But anyways, I figured that, well, I kind of want to do this. This is how I can tell my stories. And I just started doing it. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I literally just took my school notebooks and I just started drawing quote-unquote manga pages, but like I never planned the story. I never even planned paneling or anything. Like, I literally was just drawing panel after panel on a page, and if I ran out of room, I just flip the page and draw the other one, so it looked like hot mess. But it got me started. I started working on like a very old version of Saigami, and I really did enjoy it, and I figured this is what I want to do. And of course, as time went by, I actually did learn how to draw comics. I got some how to draw books, and eventually I got internet, and I could start watching tutorials on YouTube. Of course, back then it was like pretty much only Mark really who was doing like manga drawing videos. But yeah, that's how I got started, and I was just doing it, learning it. And now here we are. Still learning a lot of things and still trying to improve wherever I can. But yeah, that's basically my story. I just read Naruto and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. So I did. HD Mangaka. Honestly, I don't even know what more they could add. Version 1.9 is basically perfect. Yeah, I agree. Like, we already have pretty much everything you need. So yeah, I'm really interested to see like what version 2 will be different, because like if you're doing comics, it already has everything minus a good lettering tool. Like that I could see. A good lettering tool would be so worth the money. I would pay for that without hesitation. Because lettering in Clip Studio is not great. Like, you can't even do, like, proper live text in it, which was a big trouble for us with the Saturday volumes. So that sucked. So a good lettering tool, definitely, I would love that. Another thing that I could imagine is if they would accommodate more 3D files, like different file extensions, not just the current, what do they take, OBG format, their own format, and there's one more I think that Clip Studio can handle. Like, if they could extend what the software can take, and for example you could use the 3D files from Acon 3D, that would be like a huge game changer for webtoon artists, because so many webtoon artists, and not just webtoon but webcomic artists, are getting 3D assets from Acon, and use them in SketchUp or Blender or Maya or whatever software they have, and then transfer those files into Clip Studio, which is like several steps, and it can be quite a hassle if you're new to it, or if you don't have like a strong PC for this. Heck, or even if you're working on an iPad or a tablet, like an Android tablet, those won't be able to handle all those 3D files. Like, trust me, I drew several pages using 3D files on my Android tablet, and it crashed several times. So if they could make that possible, that you can use all of the files that Acon 3 provides, or not just Acon 3 but other 3D modeling sites, I think that would be huge. Like, that would be another thing that would be worth paying for, in my opinion. Of course, not everyone is using 3D models. I personally do for certain things. So I think that would be an interesting extension. And you could already see, like, even in the update that we're gonna be getting next week or the week after, they are improving the 3D models once again. So obviously, I think that's a direction they are gonna focus on, because more and more artists are using 3D models for everything. So I think that is something that they can improve on, because currently the 3D assets or the 3D tools that you have are kind of wonky, in my opinion. Like, especially, they added this manga perspective, which sometimes it can be cool, and sometimes it's just like, no, that's not how perspective should look like. So, sometimes you can use it to help your work with like foreshortening and stuff, and sometimes it's just like, no, this is making it so much worse than anything I could try on my own. So there's definitely room for improvement. Wait, I have both pugs underneath me. Awesome. Savage Beer says, I look back on my channel and my last video was made 2 years ago. The time is coming for me to get back to it. Well, it's never too late. The algorithm probably won't have you in its favor. But, never too late. Especially if you enjoy doing YouTube or something. It's always fun to get back into. Like, that's the thing with me, that I really enjoy doing YouTube. I just either did not have the time or did not have the proper equipment to do it, so it was always a hassle of like trying to get back into it, and then circumstances just change and I have to fall out of it again. So yeah, good luck. Because his dog is dancing. Yeah, it sounds like that. And they were just chasing each other because there was one little bit of dog treat remaining, and they had to duke it out who's gonna get it. And it was not Emmet. Whispering Rose Night. Hey yo, I made it. Well, hello. Nice to see you here. macros. Okay, here's a very specific question. What's your scripting and panel planning like? Okay, so whenever I'm in charge of writing and all that, I never write scripts. I just don't, which I cannot necessarily recommend that method because it's so much easier to write a script and make changes in that. But I'm not really good at writing, which is kind of funny because technically I'm a journalist, so yeah, there's that. But I always felt like I'm more of a visual type, so I basically just like start doodling and scribbling out scenes. Like just very, very random little doodles. Like you can't even really tell what's going on. It's mostly just like stick figures or just a scribble here and scribble there indicating something. And at first I just try to get everything that's in my head, because I always feel like that once it's in front of me, it's so much easier to see the bigger picture and like make a selection of like, what do I need, what I don't need, what I could do differently. So it's just a bunch of like random scribbles at first with some dialogue added, of course, but no proper script. And then I go over that. Actually, I kind of wonder if I have like files like that. Hold on. Because it might be easier if I can show you some of my little scribbles of how I do my stuff instead of scripting things. I should be organizing my files. I really have to scroll and scroll and scroll. It really shows that I haven't been doing proper script, or not scripts, just even like this part. Like I must have been working on stuff where I'm not the writer, and that's like a different process than whenever I'm writing things. Good lord, my PC is a whole mess. I'm really not good at organizing things. What is it finding these files? Okay, let me approach it some different way. I'm gonna open up a kill shot folder because I knew that that should have some of these. Yeah, okay. Alright, so this was a whole chapter for Killshot, and this is what I do instead of scripts. I just start randomly doodling whatever I have in my mind, writing down scribbles of like the dialogue or narration, or heck, sometimes even like some notes to myself of like what I imagine for that scene. And once I have this, I go over, as you can see there are some markings in Reddit where I basically edit my whole stuff, like, you know, is this necessary? Can we skip this? Make this a double or something? Of course, you probably can't read my handwriting, but like, for example, there was this whole scene where two characters meet, and it was just like slowing down the pacing and the momentum, so I figured I'm just gonna move that scene to someplace else, and some other edits here. Then some things are like completely like scratched, swapped, turned into something else. And this is a process that's kind of frustrating because it takes a lot of time with very little results, because these are literally just like stick figures. But I can sit on something like this for days and figure out like how I want to adapt things, or heck, even just like writing the story in this part. And once I have this and I figured out which scenes I actually want to keep, and I have a better idea, then I start breaking these down into thumbnails, which I'm trying to find. My thumbnails. It should be here somewhere. But I don't see them. Good lord. Are my thumbnails here? Yes, okay. So these are my thumbnails after I have these, well, I call these moments because I have no better idea to what to call this, but this is what I do instead of a script. Choosing what moments I want to work with, and once I have those, I start breaking them down into panels. In this step, I'm primarily focusing on page layouts and paneling. As you can see, the artworks are still pretty much scribbles, but at least I start to think about like how to visually play my pages and my panelings. And once I have this ready and settled, that's when I start breaking things down into storyboards, which oh, that was a big snore, will look like this. Sometimes they are messier, sometimes they are cleaner. Obviously this was meant to be read by my editor, so there's some notes here and there of like what we're seeing, but this is the phase where I actually focus on the art. I start to do a more refined sketch and figure out what camera angles I want to use, what expressions, what I want to show in the details and all that. And oftentimes I also use my storyboard sketches in the actual pages, and that's what I'm inking over of. So yeah, that's my process. Now, whenever I'm working from someone else's script, in that case, I usually skip this part and I just go straight to thumbnails, because there's already a written out scene in front of me, a whole script. So that's a little bit less of a brain work for me, and I can go straight to thumbnails. Sometimes I do the moments there too, especially when I have like more of a creative freedom of how I adapt things. But yeah, I mostly try to focus on the visual elements, and usually that's why it's so much easier to work on something where I'm not the writer, because obviously that's like half of the work is already done and my job is to adapt things, and I find it that's so much easier for me than writing a story myself. So yeah, this is my process, and we're gonna go back to the bees, and I probably need to catch up on the comments because that was a very, very long answer. Unknown asking, where did you get the name Saigami from? Meaning, and do you do any other jobs alongside manga? Well, the name Saigami I just came up with when I was like 15. I was looking for a title for Saigami. The manga I started working on back then, the original version, which was like all over the place and not good. But I just wanted to like come up with a word that like kinda sounds Japanese but doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, there's like a Saigami Bay in Japan, and there are actually people with the last name Saigami, so you know, depending on what kanji you use and what reading, Saigami means things. But at the same time, I just picked something back then that I like thought it sounded cool, but didn't necessarily come up with like search results that much, so I just chose that name for the story, and it kind of stuck with me now. so I'm just rolling with it. It probably could have chosen a better name, admittedly. But yeah, sometimes you get stuck with things that you come up with when you're 15. And as for any other jobs, no, I'm full-time freelancing. So, doing manga, of course there's Saigami I'm doing for Saturday but apart from that I'm also doing manga pages for Kurt Ritchie's YouTube channel alongside with thumbnails, and as well I'm working on another project, a manga series that I will announce soon, that you saw in the last live stream. And apart from that, I do like other freelancing stuff, like I work with several YouTubers to do thumbnails and assets for their videos. So yeah, I'm just doing art full time. I'm lucky enough to do that. So not necessarily just manga, sadly. Manga and comics are not as lucrative to make a living on them alone, or at least not where I'm at right now. Obviously, you know, Saigami Volume 1 was just released. So definitely not enough to make a living on. But, you know, maybe in the future, if things take off a little bit, either Saigami or some of my other projects, we'll see. I definitely would like to cut back on some of the freelancing I do, but in the meantime, you know, you just have to try and use more buckets to catch the rain, so I'm just doing my best. Irma Lera says, 30 years down the line, do you see yourself still drawing or doing something different? Well, 30 years from now, I will be 63. So I'm not sure if I want to draw at 63, to be honest. Yeah, not sure. I definitely would like to try myself in like different things. Like I love doing comics and art in general. Obviously, where things go in the future will highly depend on, you know, how things do in the next few years. For example, say if Saigami flops real hard, then, you know, that's one path that will be probably logged. But there are also other things that I'm working on. So, you know, I have several options on where to go and like how things might play out. But at the same time, things are changing so rapidly and it's kind of hard to predict where like comic and manga publishing will be in like a few years. Like we've seen that it's really taking off. Like right now is literally the time to jump on that train, and you can see that with publishers also making their moves and all that. So I definitely have that advantage there. But like how will it hold up in the long run? That is hard to tell, honestly. Especially for 30 years. Like, quite frankly, I might not be alive in 30 years. Like, not to be like gloomy here or anything, but I hope I will live another 30 years and live up to be 63. But like I honestly don't dare to plan that much ahead in life. Which is like, you know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. There are so many things that I would like to do in life, and, you know, trying out all sorts of things. So very good question. Like, I honestly don't even know where I will be in 10 years, so... So, I don't know. 30 years is, like, so far down the line that I don't think that far ahead. It's just my thing, like... Yeah. Savage Beerers is asking, do you ever draw up a map of the world of Saigami, or did you have someone else do it? I actually did draw a map for Volume 2. The old version. Obviously, the map will be probably in the new version as well when it comes out next year. But yeah, that was me drawing it up. It's not the whole world map, it was just like a region where we're focusing on in the early volumes, or the early parts of the story. Yeah, I never really did like a full world map, especially since I don't have the full world mapped out in my mind. Yeah, like part of it is like probably like the bad influence from shonen manga that like, oh, I'm just gonna make up things as I go and like expand the world. So you could say that I just kept things flexible for myself, but at the same time I did not come up with the word map. Like I always wanted to do like, you know, like a Tolkien style map because I really like that. And I can be a sucker for maps. It's just since the story never advanced out of a small region, I figured, well, in the beginning I can just do that small region and I can figure out the rest as I go. So yeah, but like if I ever had like a big world map, I honestly not sure if I would be doing it myself or if I wanted someone to do it, because there are like really cool artists out there who do like really cool like maps that actually look like something out of like, you know, like a D&D campaign or like a fantasy movie or novel or something. And you know, I could do it, sure, but also it kind of would be cool to see it like someone who's like more experienced in that area to do it. I'm not sure if you can hear Nora, but she's sleeping very, very deeply. And she snores a lot. NTKO is asking, I got a question that has been crossing my mind for a while. Do you have to be in the US to get your manga published in Saturday AM? Nope. Heck, we have artists all over the world. The books published currently, several of the creators are not from the US. Heck, I'm not from the US myself. Of course, now I live there, but you don't have to be in the US. We're releasing several books from creators abroad as well. And even right now, like Massively Multiplayer World of Ghosts just released, and the artist Oscar, he's from New Zealand, so you don't have to be in the US. Hey, Emmett, how about we stop harassing the chickens? No woof woof. WCO Anime is asking, how did you build up your social media following? Well, it just kind of happened. Like, I don't really consider myself to be too big on social media. Like, you know, I am never really too active on any of my social media platform. There was a time when I used to be like pretty active on Instagram. There was a time I was pretty active on Twitter. Of course now I'm on YouTube, and I feel like YouTube still is and was the platform that I had the most luck with and the platform I actually enjoy the most. But like, I don't feel like I ever had like, you know, oh, this is my secret strategy of like, this is how I will explode on social media, because I never really did explode or, you know, went viral or anything like that. So all of my growth on social media just have been like just steadily growing, or in some platform like Instagram just steadily stagnating and not really growing. But you know, when I started, and that's pretty much true for everything I ever did with like manga, anime, social media, that I just started because I just felt like it and I was just doing whatever. And I feel like partially that's what you should go for, that like don't necessarily stress over, you know, algorithm and this is how you should grow on social media and all that stuff. But just, you know, start doing it, do it for yourself, do it in a way that you have fun with it, and people will follow. Of course, you know, there are a lot of tricks and tips that you can follow. I myself have a video on this. very smooth plugging my content here. That, you know, that can help you definitely, like, you know, on what days should you be posting, or, you know, things to avoid that can like hurt your ranking in the algorithm. But you know, in the end, people like genuine content. And you know, whenever I scroll on social media, it's so obvious whenever you see a post and you can tell that, oh, this is just done like by the textbook to generate interactions and trying to grab attention. Then not necessarily everyone likes that. So, you know, but if you're just doing it genuinely, that's, you know, people like genuine content, so. Of course, I know it can be frustrating that, you know, when you like spend hours or days on like a really good artwork, say, you upload it on Instagram and there's no traction. And I feel like social media just like what's the right word for this? It just twisted the reception of like feedback and validation and all that. So it's kind of a dangerous thing in my opinion, because there's so many people just getting hung up on like, oh, why am I not performing on social media? Why are people not following me? Why they are not interacting? And why is this other creator doing better? And all that. And it can be a very dangerous thing when you get caught up in that. And you know, it's kind of sad because so many algorithms are just about like, you just have to play by their rules, and if you do that, then you will be rewarded by the algorithm. But you know, that does not necessarily fit everyone or benefit everyone. Like we've seen this with especially Instagram, that like it's just not a good place for artists anymore, because they just want to be TikTok and just focus on the reels. And you know, if you're an influencer who just posts, you know, 2 selfies a day and like a video of their breakfast and morning workout routine or whatever the hell, I don't know, that's content easy to generate, while artists have the downside of like, if I want to post something, I have to create an artwork for that. How can you do that fast? So it's not easy. And yeah, especially Instagram, like I'm not even trying to do much of Instagram anymore. Sure, you know, I still do my stories and posts because it's convenient, because it has the linking function. But honestly, I don't even check my stats. Like I used to like try to like, you know, pay attention of like, oh, what kind of interactions did certain posts have? you know, how is this doing and all that. I don't even anymore, because Instagram is just like, nope, not worth it anymore. So I just post whenever, and instead, you know, I'm trying to focus on YouTube as my main platform right now. Apart from that, Twitter, which is like, you know, depending on what kind of content you do, Twitter isn't an easy platform. It's great if you're doing like fan art, but like for original content is not as easy. So, you know, every platform has its ups and downs, and you know, they say TikTok is currently the easiest to grow on, but also like not necessarily the best one, because the follower quality, so to speak, in a very businessy way, is very different of like what you get on like other platforms. So yeah. And I know that this might not have been the answer that you wanted to hear. Like, I honestly would say that, you know, go watch that video I made on social media, because A, that's more collected and better focuses on things than me rambling here. But at the same time, social media these days is pretty much up to either you following the textbook or you get lucky. Apart from that, you know, just be consistent, because at least consistency is like a huge deal on every platform. Every platform wants you to be consistent, to spend more time on their platform, and to keep people there. So as long as you're picking your main platforms and you try to be consistent there, you will see growth with time. And I feel like patience is a thing here, unless you're like very, very mindset on going viral. But if you are, then yeah, that will require research and or luck, because that's just how it is. I personally, you know, all of my followerships, like all you see, it just grew gradually. Like, you know, I started making YouTube videos like 10 years ago. I don't know. So, you know, it was just growing with time. Same goes for my Instagram. I created my Instagram several years ago, and you know, it was just growing gradually. Same goes for my Twitter. I was not using my Twitter for years. I feel like that kind of grew faster for me. Of course, I'm not like a big number there. Like I have like 2,000 something followers, but that was mostly built in like the past 2-ish years, especially once I got into like RWBY and started to post fan art. I feel like that's when I started to grow on Instagram. So, you know, find your niche, be consistent, and if you really, really wanna focus on that growing and having the bigger numbers, then do a bunch of research and try to follow the playbook. I think our music ended. Okay, we have music again. And like, you know, I feel like one very important thing for artists is that like, don't necessarily get social media get to you, because none of the social media platforms are built to cater to artists. So it's pretty hard, and it can be very, very discouraging, especially if you're a younger artist or someone who's just starting out. I've seen young creators too many times. They're just getting burnout over social media. It's just not worth it. It's not where you should seek validation. My sketch is pretty rough here, so I'm just gonna try to figure things out as I ink. Let's see where I am in the comments. Rose says, Sunny, I got you. I've been making Max for my comic, so I can help you make one. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that. So HBR says, Emmett is saying, notice me, mom. Yeah, he really needs his mom. And of course, his other mom is working still, so he can be very needy. But of course, he's also very upset that we have the chickens roaming free in the backyard, so he's just not having a good time. Now, if I had done a proper sketch here, then this would save me time. One of my toxic habits is not always making proper sketches and just winging it when I'm inking. But it's more fun this way, or at least whenever it's fun. Sometimes it gets frustrating. Antikeo, sorry, I meant, do you have to live in the US? Like, you're from another country, so is it a must to go to the US, or you can publish it in your home country? No, you don't have to move to the US. Heck, many of our creators have never been in the US before, and I don't think they will be in the future anytime soon. So, no, you don't have to come to the US. The publishing itself is happening from the US, because both Saturday AM and Corto are here in the US, but you don't have to go anywhere. So yeah, you can just do it from your home country. I mean, all of the work is remote, so you're gonna submit everything online, and that's how it is. J, which layer is which, by the way? Sorry for asking so late into the stream. Okay, so what I have here, I have my basic paper layer, which is when you start up a new image file or page file or anything file in Clip Studio, you will have a basic paper. This is basically just the white layer. Then I have this folder for the sketches. Actually, this was my very first rough sketch. This was pretty messy, as you can see. And then on top of this, I had a refining sketch, which still is not refined, but more refined than the first layer. And now I have this vector layer for my inks, which I might have more. Sometimes I do. Honestly, I haven't been using as many layers as I used to. I used to like have different layers for like the face, the clothing, the hair, for this and that, and I was just like, nope, we're just gonna wing it. Mostly because vector layers are super convenient and much easier to make changes. Because if I wanna erase something, like overlapping lines and stuff like that, I can just use a vector eraser and it will do the job for me. Most of the time. Not always perfectly, but yeah, it's so much easier to do things with vector layers. So yeah, sometimes if it's an easier line art, I just keep everything on one layer. Now when it comes to the coloring, I will have many more layers, as you will see. But even then, I feel like I'm working with less layers there too, so it's actually kind of interesting to see like how my work method changed over time. Or maybe it's just, I don't know, confidence, because I don't feel like I need the safety net anymore with all the layers. And of course, I keep kind of bouncing back and forth with like the line art and inking. That's something I do, that I just like zoom in, zoom out, move over here, move over there. I don't think I ever have like just like a steady method that like I'm starting from here and then we're gonna move in a steady order. I just keep bouncing back and forth. questions. Mighty Guy is asking, how long does it usually take you to complete a page? It really depends on the content of the page. You know, how some pages are easier, some pages are way harder. I would say that usually things for me are between 4 to 8 hours. And you know, sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes if it's a really simple page and I'm really in the zone, it can happen faster than that. But yeah, I would say that usually a minimum of 4 hours. I would say it's probably closer to like 5, 6, 7 hour. Like even 4 hours, like a very, very fast page. So whenever I like try to calculate things and like schedule myself, which I'm not the best at. The good old time blindness. But yeah, I usually try to calculate with like 6-ish hours per page. Because that's at least like a good guesstimate. Like how much time I will need. And once again, it highly depends on the content. Like I know there were pages that took me like over 12 hours to finish, especially when it's like a complicated double page or, you know, a lot of like environment artwork or something very extra. That will take a lot of time. And there have been pages that have been super fast. I think one of my fastest page ever was like less than 2 hours. But that was like, you know, like 2 panels, 3 panels, page maybe, easy shots. So it really depends on the content. But I'm not in the comments. Savage Vera says, the struggle is real for me right now. So I'm making a new character and the hardest part, the clothes. Yeah, I feel your struggle. I'm really not good with clothing. The best thing I can do is do research, look up references. That's the best method. Whenever I try to come up with character clothing, I spend hours just trying to like find good references. Of course, you know, some are easier. Like if it's a modern setting, you can go to like fashion Pinterest or, you know, look up fashion magazine or, you know, whatever, like something realistic. That's easier. But when it comes to like, you know, if you have like a fantasy or sci-fi story, then obviously you have to create something that is fitting for your world. So there you have to be creative, but at the same time you can use research there too. So yeah, research and references is crucial, even though it can be very, very time consuming, but it will help your work tremendously. Crow says, that's me too. I just draw all the line art on one layer. Yeah. It's like, I feel like, especially if you're like confident in your line work, then it's plenty enough. Okay, now I will need my reference image because I'm not sure how the clothing goes here. Okay. Okay. 13J, what pencil pen is best used for sketches and pencil pen size for sketches? Honestly, it really depends on what you like. I feel like there's no right or wrong answer here, because different artists will have different preferences. Just like how in real life, you know, if you ask someone this question, there will be artists who will tell you that, oh, use an H pen, some other people will be like, oh yeah, I always use a B2 pen or this or that. So it really depends on what I personally use. Is well, for inking I use my own inking pen. As you can see, Sunny's ink pen. I'm so creative with the naming. But yeah, this is a pen that I created fitting my preferences with inking tools. So I use that for inking. As for sketching, this artwork I sketched on my tablet, and on the tablet I prefer to use a pencil tool that is basically a Procreate sketch pencil imitated in Clip Studio. It's not available anymore in the Clip Studio store, so that's why I don't have that on my PC here. Which is kind of a bummer because I really like that sketching or that pencil tool. But what I have instead when I'm sketching on this one is this one. Nope. Still don't know my icons. Yeah. So I have the brush set from Mark Brunette. He's pretty big on YouTube. You might have seen his videos. He's got like a really cool brush set, and there's the legendary line art brush. Let me go back to my sketch folder. So this is a really cool textured pen, kind of like a square. I really like to use this for sketching. Or another one that I like to use is Flyland's 2B real pencil, which once again has kind of that real-ish pencil feeling. And for shading, I like to use Days. Can't read the kanjis, but it starts with Yowa. I downloaded this from the Clip Studio asset store. I'm not sure if they were free or not, honestly. I had this for years now, but they are pretty cool, like very, very pencil-like, and depending on your tilt, you can do some shading and some realistic stuff. So I like to use these. Recently, my go-to has been Mark Brunette's brush for the sketching, because it's just, I really like the textured thing. And on my tablet, I use that Procreate knockoff pencil tool, and for the inks, I use my own inking tool. I hope that helps. But you know, if you're using Clip Studio, you can go up to the asset store and just write in, you know, G pen or inking pen or pencil, and there will be so many options, especially if you search filter by popularity. You can see what are the tools that are like most liked by people, most downloaded. So usually you know that if something was downloaded by, you know, like 50,000 people, it must be not bad, or at least it has a very good thumbnail. But if you also check like how many people actually liked it and like reacted to it, then you know that, oh, I think this is something really good. So that's how I like to search for more tools. And in the end, it comes down to experimenting. And, you know, don't forget that Clip Studio gives you the option to also adjust your tools. So for example, if you download a pen, pencil tool, whatever tool, or heck, even just the default ones, you can make like unlimited adjustments and changes to them and just create your own. That's how I made my own inking pen. I took Clip Studio's Real G pen and I kept changing around the settings and how it reacts to certain things until I found a setting that was really, really fitting of what I was looking for. So, you know, you can always just fiddle around with things. Right guy says, I envy that, to be honest. Too many layers is my weakness. Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with using too many layers, unless you're in Procreate and you're limited, because that can be dangerous. But I feel like this is also like kind of like a confidence thing as well, because I know that I used to have like an unholy amount of layers because I was just not confident of what I'm doing or how I'm doing things. So it just felt nice that I had all those different layers, even though it was always a hassle to like figure out what's on what layer, because God knows I'm not naming my layers. And you know, as you gain more experience and you become more comfortable with like the whole process, and then maybe you can start eliminating a few layers. For example, I know I used to have like every single article of clothing on separate layers. And, you know, now it's just like, that's not necessarily like, what if I just have like, you know, the hair on a separate layer, I have the clothing on a separate layer, and maybe the face and like the other fleshy parts on a separate layer. And, you know, just start reducing the layers. But never feel like pressure that you need to do that. Like, I feel like that's like one of the big things with digital art, that like it reduces so much stress and so much pressure that otherwise you would have. And like, you know, just work however it's comfortable for you. You don't have to follow anyone of like how they are working. Do it however it fits you and just figure it out as you go. WCO anime. Who's your favorite manga artist? I would say it's Hiro Mashima, Furudate Haruichi. Hiro Mashima is of course Fairy Tail, Remaster, and currently Eden Zero. It's like kind of my guilty pleasure, like. Yeah. I'm still not over like Fairy Tail. It was so bad, but at the same time there was so much good stuff there too. But so bad. But yeah, Furudate Haruichi is Haikyuu's mangaka. It's just perfect stuff. Like Haikyuu did everything right. So I really like their stuff. I really like Hiromu Arakawa for Fullmetal Alchemist. And now comes the part where I have a brain fart and I don't remember anything else. But yeah, definitely the first two are my biggest favorites. And I think it really shows on my art style as well. And my interests. Although I, honest to God, hope that I'm doing better than Fairy Tail with story. Definitely doing better with my female characters. Artist guy, any tips for inking and toning manga pages? Tons. Honestly, that's a huge topic. Now, when it comes to inking, as I mentioned before, you know, use as many layers as you feel necessary. Just don't stress over things. Like, that's one of the wonderful things about digital, that you don't have to stress over it. Like, I used to ink my pages traditionally with nib pens, like traditional, you dip in ink and ink like that, pens for like a decade, and it was very satisfying. Like, it was really cool, I loved it, but at the same time, I feel like I lost years of my lifespan whenever I made a mistake or spilled the ink, and oh, it was bad. Plus, it was like always the pressure that like, sure, I can use whiteout and make corrections, but at the same time, it's not easy. So there was always a huge pressure on me whenever I was inking. And I think that's like really cool that with digital you can always make changes and fixes, so you don't have to feel that pressured. So there's that. I think, you know, when it comes to inking, different artists will have different styles and preferences. Nowadays we really see that like this sketchy raw inking style is really taking off. We see it like Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and so on, which for me is very interesting because I was always like trying to have like clean line arts, but at the same time, you know, things are changing, and in the end, you do whatever fits you, your artistic style, your story. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way, as long as it's like clean enough that the readers can tell what's going on, then you should be good. Obviously it's a huge topic, and there are like tricks and tips that can be very useful. I really don't like this hand. I think I'm gonna fiddle around with things. We should have done a proper sketch at least for the hand. But like, as you can see, if you don't like your inking, you just change it. Erase it, play around with it. With digital it's like super easy, so... Of course, finding a tool that you really like can really help. But at the same time, you don't have to just settle with like one thing. There were pages where I used like several different inking tools because I was just experimenting and trying to figure things out of like what works best, what I like, different tool settings. You can even play around with like, you know, like line weight. Like some people prefer to do very heavy inking, some people use very fine lines, some people use like a bigger variety when it comes to the width of her lines. Some people don't. So, you know, there's no just one way to do things. So just feel free to experiment. Now, when it comes to screen toning, that's a little bit different because it's so easy to mess up screen toning. And that is something I always try to warn others, that be very careful with your screen tones, because if you don't use them the right way, they will mess up your work. Hardcore. And this is where it comes in that I'm a journalist and I'm technically a press technician. There's a thing called moire effect, which is one of your worst enemy when it comes to printing, and screen tones can really do the damage there. Basically, you know how screen tones work is just like a bunch of, you know, dots or lines. It's basically just a repetitive monochrome pattern that you use in like various frequencies, and that's how it generates the illusion of like a grayscale. Now, depending on that frequency, it can create like weirdest patterns. And for example, something that looks good on your screen will look totally different on someone else's screen, depending on the resolution, the size of the screen, are they zooming in, are they not, and it can mess up everything. And the same goes for printing. My very first published short story, it was published in Hungary. It was just, you know, a small short story, nothing else, but you know, it was a first for me. Obviously I had no idea what I was doing. I was just using Manga Studio 3 back then. Oh good lord, I'm old. Anyways, and I was using screen tones from Manga Studio because obviously that's what you're supposed to use for manga. And when it comes to printing, obviously I had no idea about these frequencies and how I'm supposed to do my pages. And the whole shebang went to printing and came out with pages that looked like flannel. I kid you not, everything had this checkered, plaid, flannel, you name it, kind of pattern wherever I wanted to have grayscales. So for example, I had a character who was supposed to have brown hair. Nope, now he had flannel hair. And it looked ugly as balls, and it was just a terrible experience. And it was only after that that I learned that, oh, you can prevent this with the right settings. You just need to know what you're doing, and there's a lot of math involved. Like, for example, when it comes to like the frequency and like resizing things, you always have to work with like the 80s to make sure that you're like only shrinking or resizing in a certain percentage, and it's just a lot of like calculating and a lot of work. And of course, you know, if you have like the right publisher, they will do this stuff for you. They will know this. Usually they don't do this for you when you're like someone small, or you know, when you do this for yourself. So that's how you can easily mess up your manga pages, just by using screen tones. So what I personally do, I never ever use screen tones anymore. What I do is either use flat grays. For example, that's what you see in Saigami, because in the end it's printed in black and white, so there's not much of a difference between like a low frequency, or no, high frequency gray tone or screen tone and flat grays when it comes to printing, because in the end, whenever you're printing something in black and white, it's just a mass of dots. So there's not much of a difference there. Of course, depending on what kind of screen tones you're using, it will give you a different texture, so I understand why some people will desperately want that. What I use instead now, and with all my new pages and new works, I add a noise texture to my screen tones, and it gives you the texture that screen tones would, but the noise frequency won't mess up your printing, or even it won't mess up when you're looking at something on a different screen. So that is something you might want to think about. I probably will make a video on this, because I feel like not many people are aware of this, and even if I just talk about it in a video but not really showing what I'm talking about, it's kind of hard to grasp. But yeah, that's my number one tip when it comes to screen tones. And the rest is honestly up to your style. Like, you know, some people prefer to go nuts with their screen tones and try to indicate like every color and every shade. I personally like to work with as little amount of screen tone as possible in my manga pages. Usually I try to restrict myself of like maybe 3 types of screen tone, like a very light gray, a dark gray, and like a mid-tone. Sometimes I will use more depending on the scene and characters, but I personally think that, you know, less is more. Try to not to have too many screen tones. And you know, there are manga series out there that use a buttload of screen tones, and it looks really good depending on the style. I feel like that my style looks better with not as much screen tones. But once again, this is something that's like up to personal preferences. Okay, where was I in the comments? WCO anime. Sunny, can you please make a full detailed video focused on inking? Yeah, I guess I will. like, yeah. Definitely a video on screen tones, and probably a video on inking too, because, yeah, there's a lot to cover, and I have a lot to say for sure. I'm trying to figure this hand out because my sketch once again is crap. But yeah, I have like so many video ideas to come. Like I already have like some of my next videos like scripted and like half recorded. But obviously I really want to go back to some tutorials as well. Which is kind of funny because at a point I was like, well, what's the point of tutorials? Everything has been done and all that. But at the same time, like, you know, maybe I do things differently. Or maybe how I do things will fit someone else better than some other YouTubers' methods, so definitely want to do some more tutorials. And now that I have my good setup again, I will be able to actually do things. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, I think I will come back to this hand later and polish it up, but now I just want to like do the big picture. Oh yeah, that hand looks like mess. Okay, maybe I come back to it right now. Mars Hudson, which Samsung Galaxy tab do you use? I use the Tab S7 FE. I use the S7 Plus. Yeah, S7 Plus. Yeah, that's what I use. For a moment I had to like think about it, like, wait, am I? But yes, that's what I use, and I really love it. It's a wonderful tablet. I'm really happy that I got it when I got it. Of course, you know, now it's way cheaper, like I'm still paying the installment for this one. And now you can get it like on half of the price, so I'm not salty about it at all. But you know, that's just how technology is. Like if you buy something immediately when it's released, you're gonna pay the price for it. And that's what I did. Like I bought this tablet I think a month after it was released. Which definitely was not my smartest move, but at the same time I needed something. That allows me to draw even when I don't have my PC, which I didn't have for like over a year. So definitely was a good investment. Golden says hello. Well, hello. Nice to see you here. Crow says, funny, I was just thinking, Sunny's pen looks like the real G pen, but cool. Yeah, like it was a real G pen at one point, and then I played around with it a little bit. And, you know, in general, I think the real G pen is like really good for inking. I just wanted something more and something more suited to my style. 13J says Eden Zero Season 2 coming April. Let's go! Still waiting on Fairy Tail 100-year quest anime news though. I have no idea that Eden Zero has a second season coming. That's cool, that's cool. I really need to catch up on it. Admittedly, I haven't seen past like the 5th episode of the anime, and I haven't read the manga in like a year, which kind of sucks because I used to like read Fairy Tail every week, and I used to read Eden Zero every week, and then I kind of fell out of it. But now I really should go back. Like I fell out of like every kind of manga for a long while. Basically, like, after Haikyuu ended, I wasn't reading manga for months. But I really should go back. Oh lord, the hands are all over in this drawing. Anyways, I'm gonna focus on hair a little bit. And then I'm gonna go back to the hands and arms and fix things up a bit more. I probably should catch up on the comments a little bit. Okay, I'm not that far behind. That's good. Okay, I thought I was way behind. Savage Bear says, a few years ago someone mentioned my art has some fairy tale inspiration, but I look at my stuff and I can't see it. Yeah, I mean, you know, people will always try to compare your stuff to something. That's just how people are. And you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you will get compared to things that you might not even know of. Like, I know I got like comments before where it's like, oh, this character looks like this or that. I'm like, the hell are you talking? I don't even know what series you're talking about or what character. And you know, when you look up and it's like, no, it's not even close. So, you know, people just are weird with this, always comparing things. I don't know. I don't do that. Even if you think something looks like something, just don't tell it to the artist. It's not nice. Like, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe the artist took inspiration from there. But it also might be that the artist doesn't even know what that IP is, and this just happens to look similar to you. You never really know. Obviously, if it's like something very, very blatantly copied, that's a very different case. But when it's just like, yeah, I think this character looks like someone else, that's always like kind of a weird territory. Especially when it's like not really close. Gothic Lolita Angel says, yeah, someone said my stuff had Edge Belly inspiration, but I never seen it, lol. Yeah, exactly. Like, see, like so many times, like, people are just looking for those similarities, but you know, everyone relies on just the series or properties they know. So it's like so weird that, like, okay, that's your interpretation, but at the same time, sometimes it's just like, nope, not even close. Demetrius Harrington, I love the first volume of Saigami. Excited for number 2. Oh, thank you. I'm really happy that you enjoyed it. Volume 2 is coming. Still working on some content for it. Yeah, and it's gonna come next summer. Yeah, it was announced already, so now I can say it. Which is still kind of funny because it was revealed, the cover was revealed, but I cannot share it just yet because yeah, but it's coming. It's gonna be better than Volume 1. Like, Volume 1 is definitely not my strongest work. But at the same time, you know, I didn't really have much of a time or chance to make the changes I wanted to, like all of them. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I'm really happy that you enjoyed it, so I'm hoping that you will enjoy Volume 2 even more. Also, Demetrius is asking, what's it like working with Saturday AM? It's an experience. It's like a roller coaster. Lots of ups and downs. Yeah. I had a lot of good experiences, also a lot of bad experiences. It's kind of a mixed bag. Yeah. Yeah. Being a comic artist is not always fun. Working with a publisher isn't always fun. People don't always see eye to eye. Yeah. It's one of those questions where I try to stay very, very diplomatic and focus on the good stuff. But yeah, I feel like it's different for everyone working with Saturday AM. Obviously, depending on which magazine you're in, what other responsibilities you have. It's a lot of work. Next to comic drawing as well. So it's not just comic drawing, unless you're one of those creators who only have to draw comics and not much else to do. While some other creators are tasked with a lot more. So yeah, a lot of work. But like I said, it's different for everyone. I might not be the best person to talk about my experiences. One day I'll tell a full story. One day. WCU Anime is asking, have you heard of the Artcast podcast hosted by DD Mark and Third PHP? And if so, do you plan on being a guest over there? I did hear about it. I follow both of them on Instagram, so I seen them post about the podcast. I haven't had the chance yet to listen to it. I plan to. I just have been super slammed with everything. What the hell was that? Okay, cat failed to jump up on the window. Not sure if you guys heard that. He just went bonk. So yeah, I definitely want to check it out. Because it sounds like fun. Obviously, whether I want to be a guest, I don't think that's up to me, or I'm not sure how it works. If they would want to have me on, I probably would be happy to do it, depending on the timing. Because yeah, sometimes I'm too slammed to do anything. I have a dog under my feet. So yeah, yeah, where was I? Yeah, like, you know, if they would want to have me as a guest, yeah, sure, I would be happy to. But I definitely would want to at least, like, listen first, because, you know, like, I could message them, like, I think we're mutuals with both of them, that, hey, I wanna be on this thing, but, like, I need to catch up and listen to the content first. I don't want to be one of those people, you know, just uses it for clout or something. But I heard they are doing really well. Like, I've seen other people posting about it, and that's, like, really fun. Like, I think that's, like, one of the best things about, like, art live streams and, like, when you're doing community events and stuff like that, when it's like people are jobbing along watching you or listening to you. And I always found that that's, like, super wholesome, and whenever I had people joining my live streams and draw together, that's, like, just wholesome, because drawing can be lonely many times. So I think whenever people find a way to do it more as, like, a community thing, it's just wholesome, and I really like that. So yeah, I definitely want to check out that podcast and see the hype. Reaper Crow says, I hope I get comments saying my art's unique and not compare it to something else. Well, I don't want to burst your bubble, but even then you probably will get comments. like seriously, it's ridiculous. Like, you can have the most unique art style and characters, and there will be that one guy who will be like, oh, this reminds me of this and that, and, you know, most of the time it won't even be based, but they just really want to make that comment for some reason. So, you know, just be prepared that it will happen, and just don't give a damn about it. I don't usually, like, you know, it's just stupid. Like, you know, sometimes it's like when my stuff is compared to things, like, you know, often my stuff got compared to, like, Fairy Tail, and I'm like, yeah, obviously, it was one of my inspirations. Obviously, Heroes Mashima's work have been my inspiration even before Fairy Tail even launched. So, you know, there's nothing wrong there. I I took inspiration and learned a lot from his arts. So yeah, that's reality. But like when it's just something that like I don't even know what you're talking about, or they just say something, just ignore it. Like I feel like when you're an artist and when you're doing content that you put out there actively, you kind of have to learn how to ignore certain things. Sure, you know, you want to keep up communication with your readers, your followers, but there are certain things that are just not worth your time. So, you know, I feel like these kind of comments are one of those. Deepravik, another lunch break, another stream. Hey Sunny, well hello, nice to see you here. Enjoy your lunch. I hope I wasn't too late with that comment. You might not even have your lunch break anymore. I don't need to do better with my comment readings. I just tend to ramble a lot. Demetrius is asking, what kind of media have you been watching, reading, listening lately? Any recommendations? Oh yeah. Hold on. I need a drink first. And then I'm gonna do my recommendations round. Alright, so where should I start? I'm gonna start with reading. Okay, so not technically reading, because we have this really cool, oh my god, what are they called? Graphic audiobooks, which is basically like an audiobook, but with a full cast and acting. So each character has their own voice actor, and there are sound effects and music. So it's really cool. I absolutely love it. They are very expensive, but oh my god, it's so cool. So we have these graphic audiobooks for Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series. And oh my god, that's such a good series. Like, holy shit. I can only recommend, like, oh my god. If I had read this series before, it would have changed how I do everything. Like, the world building, the magic system. Oh, good lord, it's so good, so good. So if you're into fantasy, not just in fantasy, like sci-fi and fantasy, like it's fantasy in the beginning, and then okay, so it's like a whole series of books. So we have the Mistborn trilogy, that's where you should start, and then there's a continuation, playing in the same world but like in a different timeline, and there's also like the expanded universe. So it's like, it's so good. Oh my god, it's so good, so good, so good. So yeah, that's what I've been reading / listening to, and it's incredibly good. Like I'm like obsessed with the Mistborn trilogy, and I am, you know, I read my fair share of books, and you know, grew attached to characters and series several times. Nothing new to see there. And you know, I read a lot of series where I got like very emotional and like tearing up over something. Mistborn books made me like cry, like legit sobbing, crying. It was so messed up. We were listening to the books on our road trip with my wife when we were driving down to Texas, and like we just arrived in like Austin, Texas, which was supposed to be like, you know, we're finally there. That's where we were driving all along. And hold on, I need to let out the dogs. And you know, that was like a super long road trip, but like we literally been like driving for like days. At that point, like sleeping in the car, just driving all day. And we're finally getting closer to our destination in Texas, and we hit a part in the book, and I'm like sobbing, crying, and like I never cried over a book like that. Like, heck, not even with movies. Like, there are a handful of movies that made me cry like real hard, but books never did that to me. And here I was, a freaking mess, and like we finished the book, and I'm like a hot mess full of emotions, and like 30 minutes later randomly just think of the book again and I start crying again. Like, it was like really something else. It's holy shit, those books messed me up. It was so good. But like, even if you're like not the emotional type, just for the world building and the magic system, it's incredible. I'm absolutely in love with the Mistborn books, and it's so good. Like the whole, like, whatever Sanderson doing, like I'm still just like starting to dab into the full Cosmere, so, but it's so good, so good. Oh my god, I can only recommend. Especially if you can like get the graphic audiobooks, those are incredible. But like the books itself are really good too. Like we have the books too. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. As for like other stuff I've been watching, reading that I can recommend, I'm kind of a late bloomer here, but we've been watching Doctor Who that I never seen before. Yep, I lived my 30 plus years and I never ever seen an episode of Doctor Who. So my wife got me in it, and it's really good. Of course, some of the episodes are like ridiculous and like, you know, sometimes it's just cheap TV. But when it's good, it's really good. So I've been really enjoying that. And you know, if you're for some reason like me who never got exposed to Doctor Who, yeah, give it a try. It's fun. So there's that. What else have you been watching? I feel like there have been more. I know we watched Jurassic World Dominion, and that was like crap. That was so bad, so bad. Oh my god, it was so bad. We love and stand the gay pilot lady, and like that's it. She was the only good thing in that whole movie. Oh, that was so bad. I was so disappointed. Of course, there's RWBY Ice Queendom. I'm waiting for the dub because I just I don't want to sound like a dub elitist or anything, but like RWBY, I love the original voice actors. The Japanese voice actors are incredible, and like purely big name voice actors, which is like incredible. But I just love the original RWBY voices, so I'm waiting for the English dub to release, and then we're gonna be watching Ice Queendom RWBY. There's that. And apart from that, not much. We don't really watch much TV these days. I feel like there should be more, but I really can't recall. Ooh, yeah, we watched A League of Their Own. That was really good. Oh my god, that was so gay. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Oh, it was really good, really good. I hope there's gonna be season 2 and it won't end up like the other shows we were watching. I'm still salty over The Wilds. So yeah, there's that. As for music, just a lot of things. I have my go-to playlist that I like to listen to. recently I've been like going back to my roots and listen to a bunch of like old German anime music, like Digimon in German and all those stuff I grew up with, just to ride the nostalgia. So yeah, but like all sorts of things. Hold on, I need to let the dogs in again. Story of my life. Alright. Let's catch up. Savage Beard is asking, Sunny, what is your favorite kind of clothing to put on your characters? Do you prefer more loose-fitting stuff or more formal stuff? I would say it depends on the story and the character, because obviously I might have my own personal preferences. If it's not fitting the story or the character, then, you know, it's not like I can have everyone in sweatpants and t-shirt, which probably would be my go-to, because God knows that's what I'm wearing all the time. I definitely feel like for me drawing loose stuff is easier, because it's just very easy to draw, and you know, you can cover up some smaller mistakes and inaccuracies when it comes to like anatomy. So, you know, clothing can help you hide some weaknesses or just skip certain things, while as if you're drawing something that's like skin tight, obviously you will have to get your proportions right and your anatomy right, because that will show and it will look jarring if you mess up. So yeah, I personally like looser stuff. I also really like characters to have like either like a jacket or a hoodie. Hoodies, I feel like all of my characters, especially early on, all of my characters are wearing hoodies, and even to this day, because I simply just stuck the drawing like the neck and shoulder anatomy. And the same reason was why I never drew my characters in like sleeveless stuff, because I always like sucked the drawing like the armpits areas, which is like so funny, because all I had to do is just sit down and do studies and just actually learn how to do it. So, you know, now it's not a problem, but in my early days I used to just avoid these things. Don't do that. Just face your fears, do your studies, and it will be so much easier when you don't have to cut corners. But yeah, obviously loose stuff is easier, for me at least. Maybe some people prefer to draw more skin tight stuff. I don't know, I can't imagine, but maybe there are people. And now I'm just bullshitting the details here. I really should be looking up that arm, but also, since it's like a fan art interpretation, I might change the details a little bit. Like, I kind of wonder if I can make it a little bit more Hercules-y, like Greekish design or something. Oh, I will look into that. Yeah, I will figure it out later. Let's see, where am I in the comments? Crow says, you know, I don't see anything in your work that looks like fairy tale. For some reason it gives me Square Enix vibe, but I consider your art style unique. Thank you. I definitely can see the Square Enix. Like, obviously Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy have been like huge inspiration for me. So I feel like, especially when it comes to like, we don't say clothing design, but kinda clothing design. Like, yeah, definitely. For fairy tale, I would say not my recent stuff, but I could show you panels from like Saigami where it's like, yeah, that's like heavily fairy tale inspired, especially with like some fight scenes and with the panelings and effects. So I always feel like I took a lot of inspiration from there. Like, especially since, you know, it was Hiro Mashima's stuff that I did a lot of studies of. Like, it was Naruto, Brave Master, later Fairy Tail, and Haikyuu. I did a lot of like studies from those. False Hero says the graphic audio is awesome. I listened to the first 3 Stormlight archives in graphic audio format. Oh, we still have to get there. Oh, we're on the 6th book in Mistborn, which is not technically Mistborn. I mean Mistborn, but like the sequel, like the what is it called? What's the book we're on right now? Oh my god, I can't remember. Crap. I'm terrible with book titles. But if you know, you know where we're at right now. With Wayne and Vax's story. We're on the 3rd book right now. Oh, such a good series. Oh my god. So I think our music died again. Yep. Zero says, I also read all of the Mistborn novellas. Can't wait for the next. Yes! Oh my god, yes. 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 Oh, I'm so happy that you know them. Oh my god. That makes me so happy. Everyone, please do yourself a favor and go and read the Mistborn books. I promise, they are incredible. It's so good. Holy shit, it's so good. I'm so getting a tattoo. like literally, we're gonna get Mistborn tattoos. Oh, so good. Such good stuff. Probably gonna butcher your name, I'm sorry. Ziar Morris? Zyari? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Don't play Final Fantasy 14 then. It almost got me and I never cry. Oh. 14 is the online version, isn't it? That's like the multiplayer one. Yeah. Well, Final Fantasy is like very emotional. Like, Final Fantasy X has still, like, it still has me in a chokehold. So good. I love it. Like, that made me cry several times, I feel like. And like other Final Fantasy games too. They know how to get to your emotions. But even those, like, I played several of the Final Fantasy games and like watched someone else play some other games that I did not have access to. And there was a lot of emotions. Tears were shed for sure, but not like that. Like, I feel like other times where I was crying as much as with the Mistborn book, Clannad, the anime, that was messed up. That was not good. That made me cry a lot and just like, in general, lose my will to live. That was so sad. Like that anime and the game it's based on just exists to make you sad. That was bad. Yeah, so Clannad definitely made me cry like that. The movie about Hachiko the dog, that made me cry. But like, that's not fair because that's a dog movie. Dog movies don't count. Like, movies with animals don't count. Those will make me cry automatically. Like, I cannot watch Free Willy without crying. So there's that. Animals don't count. Oh, One Piece. Well, hopefully not spoiling anything, but like, I don't want to spoil things, but at the same time, if you're, how do I phrase that? Like, the scene with the ship, when it's time to say goodbye to the ship, that just destroyed me. Like, if you know, you know. Like, I don't think you can watch that without crying. Like, that was messed up. And that was so funny because I remember we watched that with my friends, and it was like 7 of us adults sitting in a room watching One Piece, and we were crying like little bitches. it was really something else. I have no idea what I'm drawing here, so I'm gonna move my reference image here. Really, buddy, you just came in. Hold on, I need to let the dogs out again. Demetrius is saying, that sounds very immersive, referring to audio graphic book. I will definitely check out Mistborn. You have me very intrigued. I've thought about starting Doctor Who, but it intimidates me. Yeah, I absolutely understand Doctor Who. Like, if I didn't have my wife get me into it, I didn't even have an idea, like, where to start. Because it's like, there's so much. It's like, it's been running since the 60s, so where do I even start? If you wanna give it a try, start with like the new iteration of the series, where the Doctor is... Oh crap, what's his name? Crap. The Ninth Doctor. Oh, what's his name? Eccleston, I think. Oh my god. I know his name. He's funny. He hits the queen. I hope he has a good time. But yeah, that's like a good point to start. And actually that was something I had no idea about. Like, I thought that if I want to get into... Hold on, the other dog wants to go out too. So, like, I thought that with Doctor Who, that if I want to start it, I need to start with, like, very, very old stuff. But that's not true, actually. So you can just start with the Ninth Doctor. Some people will tell you to not to start there. Like, it's kind of funny because everyone has their favorites and, like, how they feel about certain storylines and where to start. But I feel like I went in not knowing anything, literally anything. Like, all I ever knew about Doctor Who is what I saw at conventions with, like, some cosplay. And, like, I knew that the TARDIS is in it. I know that there are these things, the Daleks, because I saw them at conventions. But that was literally the only thing I knew. And I started with, like, the Ninth Doctor. And I could keep up with everything pretty well, because that was meant to be, like, sort of like a reboot of the series as far as I know. So yeah, that could be a safe spot to start if you're interested, but it's still like a big commitment. Several seasons. So, you know, if you can get someone who's like a fan to watch it with you, I feel like that could make it better, because there definitely are times when I'm like so confused and it's, you know, my wife telling me that, oh well, it's okay, this will come back later on and it will make more sense or something. So yeah. But for the Mistborn books, yes, please check it out. I think you will really enjoy it. It's a little bit of a slower start in the first book, but oh my god, once it gets going, it's so good, so freaking good. So good. Not sure what I'm... Okay, oh, I see what I'm doing there, okay. Nope, that's the wrong image, I want this one. I never put down, like, design elements here. And it's clothing, so I'm just gonna add some random design elements. Because now I can do whatever I want, so I'm just gonna add some random bits and pieces here. To make it still look like Hercules-y, but not necessarily. Savage Bear says, Sunny, we need to do a music sharing session one of these days. I feel like it will be something beautiful. Oh, we should. Yes. We could do like a collaborative list on Spotify if you have Spotify. That's kind of fun. We did that with a few friends online and you can get some really interesting playlists, so... Okay, I'm not seeing the clothing there. I'm trying to just figure out the details of the clothings here, which I obviously did not have in my sketch. Because I like to make things harder for myself. Crow says, speaking of dramatic and sad, I got Poon Poon Volume 1. That is something I never read or watched, but I heard about it, that it's like very, very, very emotional. I just never got a chance to look into it. I hope you'll enjoy it, like... I feel like it's one of those series that's like so often brought up. And I just never really see it anywhere. I mean, the volume. Chris also says, One Piece made me cry a few times. Yeah, like... One Piece really had its great moment. Like... I feel like I really need to get back into it, especially now that maybe it's gonna end at last. But I fell out of it after the time skip, yeah, that's the right word. I know English. So yeah, I feel like to me the series peaked at Enies Lobby, and it just did not live up to that hype after, which is kind of funny because so many people are like, oh, you know, Maria Jo was like, you know, the peak, and then of course the current arcs, and I just could never get back into it for some reason. Then maybe I will try. Oh my lord, the dogs want to come back in. 1 second. Okay. Oh, are you dancing? Oh, we found a squeaky toy. Well, enjoy it. Pug ASMR. Demetrius says Pun Pun hurts. Or is it Pun Pun or Pun Pun? I don't know. But yeah, I heard that is one of those series that, like, you will cry. It's not an option. You will cry. Crow says, I was recommended Doctor Who years ago and I started with the first 2 episodes of season 1. A bunch of people ragged on me, so I just stopped. Aww. Yeah. I feel like whenever you're getting into like a huge franchise, it's the best if you like have someone who can help you get into it. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Like, just like how with RWBY. Like, I think that's how people should be getting into RWBY, with a RWBY veteran who can get them through the first 2.5 volumes, and then you will get hooked by the end of volume 3. That's not an option. But like, yeah, I feel like RWBY is also one of those series where... Oh, hello, Emmet. What was that? I would appreciate if you didn't jump up on my lap right now. Like, yeah, some series are best like that. Plus, you know, with like... I know with RWBY fans, people love it when someone new gets into the series and we get to watch their reaction. Like, that's just priceless all the times. So yeah. And obviously Doctor Who is like way more content than just RWBY. So that is kind of intimidating. Crow says, One Piece is still incredible, but I understand. I feel like the pre-time skip is more charming, but I still love the series as it goes. I'm not caught up. Yeah, I feel like the charming part is very true. Like, I feel like with the time skip, the whole vibe of the story changed. Like, we went from like an adventure story to something that's like way more political and darker. So yeah. Yeah, it's just not necessarily my vibe. Like I kind of feel like the same was true with like Attack on Titan. And like the first half of the story has completely different vibes than the finishing half. Which I still have not finished watching yet. Like, I don't think I even read the last few chapters of Attack on Titan. I just fell out of it. But I fell out of everything, so that's on me. Okay, let's see. Normally, I ink so much faster than this. I'm making progress at least. I don't think I need this right now. I feel like I added all the necessary details from this one, so we're gonna move this away. Savage Beer says, your dogs reminds me of mine. Whenever I'm in the middle of the game, they will want to go out. I could just squeeze them sometimes. Yeah, like I would sell my soul for a doggy door. It's in and out with them. They always want to go out or come in. It's just a non-stop opening doors. And of course you can't have a doggy door because our cats cannot go outside, but they try every time, so whenever I open the door I always have to make sure that the cats don't escape. They are not outdoor cats. Isn't it right, Charlie? Oh, he's not legal. He just came. Now he's rubbing his face in me. That's very nice. The barky barks again. Crow says, Dressrosa is still pretty high because of all the character arcs and Don Flamingo. Yeah, I mean, that is still like a high arc. For me, it didn't really do, like, I kind of felt like that just was too many characters for me. But then once again, that's just me. Like, there were really cool parts there too. It just was not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm just trying to like figure out some details. Really, guys? We're gonna do this again? And now they are outside again. Crow says, I still think about RWBY because of you and Pagota. Aww. God, we still need to continue. Yeah. RWBY is good stuff. If you haven't seen RWBY yet, watch it. Oh, so good. And soon we will have Volume 9 and oh god, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. It's kind of funny because I feel like lately I haven't been drawing as much RWBY. So obviously, there were deadlines and all the stuff that I need to work on. But also, I kind of felt like there was just so much drought and like the hiatus finally got to me, that like no RWBY content, that like I just really did not feel like drawing. And now I'm back on that RWBY hype again. Partially thanks to that silly little poll wars that was going on Twitter. I'm not sure if any of you were up on Twitter taking part in the polls of the Wooloo ships. But it was funny. But yeah, probably once RWBY airs again, you will see a lot more RWBY artworks from me. Oh, Lord Yang's arm is a mess. I really need to figure it out. Okay, we're gonna erase some parts and do them differently. Because this doesn't feel right. And for once I'm gonna be smart and I'm gonna do a sketch layer. And figure out what the hell am I doing here. With this arm. I probably should have done this way before. Crow says, I'd love to catch up with you guys whenever you guys aren't busy. Well, we plan to rewatch all of RWBY before Volume 9 comes out, so I'm sure we can find some time and make something happen, because yes, that would be so much fun. Third says, Sunny, I'm going to nab you in the DMs and get you to come up with a Pokemon for my fan concept. Ooh, okay, yeah, oh yeah. I have ideas. Love me some Pokemon. Whispering Rose Knight. I just got a friend into RWBY and she just finished Volume 3. Oh. Her favorite characters were Pierre and Cinder, so you can imagine how that went. Yes. Oh my god, I just love that. There's nothing more satisfying than getting someone into RWBY and just watching that whole go down. Also saying I'm kind of slowly but surely easing her into Volume 4 with RWBY Chibi. Yeah, I feel like that's smart. Like, people need RWBY Chibi after Volume 3 for sure. Wrong layer. Oh, and the pugs want to come in again. Nope, they went barking again. Love this consistency. All it takes is a car going by and they will go. This is the part where I really should be looking up a reference image for Yang's arm. I just don't. Sometimes I just like to suffer. It's like I could draw it from memory and now I feel like I should be able to do this, but I can't. It's been so long since I drew her. Big Boy says, I'm back. Well, hello, welcome back. Christopher says, Ruby Chibi is there to soothe all the wounds from Volume 3. Yeah, like literally that's what it feels like. Oh, and even then. I feel like we should have gotten like several seasons of RWBY Chibi after Volume 8. Like, seriously. People is asking, where is Emmet? Well, Emmet is barking at the cars outside right now. So I should really let him back in, but he just paused again. Nora scratching at the door, however, but Emmet just barks. He's just so pissed at the world all the time. Alright, I'm gonna let them back in. I also just realized that I'm a terrible dog mom because I forgot to give them dinner. So what I'm gonna do now, I think, is I'm gonna take like a 10 minutes of break and I'm gonna feed the pugs and lock in the chickens because I forgot about them too when it's dark out there. So I'm just a wonderful pet owner today. But yeah, I'm gonna... Well, it's 7 o'clock right now, or top of the hour, wherever you are. So we're gonna take, or at least I'm gonna take like a 10 minutes of break. And then I'm gonna be back and hopefully I can finish this inking and coloring. So... I'm gonna... Did I lose my pen? No, it's here. Okay. I'm gonna create a new layer so I can write a message in red. That's very dramatic of me. No, that's too thick and not readable. I'm so smooth. 10 minutes of break. Be back at 7:10 p.m. EST. Okay. So professional. Okay, so now's your chance to whatever needs you have. Feed your pets, please, if you have them. Don't be like me, I'm a terrible dog mom. So yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic, probably gonna leave the music on. And yeah, I will be back in a couple of minutes so we can continue this. thank you very much for your patience. Our animals appreciate you. They are eating still. Now they swapped bowls because clearly whatever the other dog is having is much better. Even though it's the same freaking thing. Anyways, yep. Alright. Let me look at the comments real quick. I'm also gonna delete this layer. Alright. Sage Reader says they have the exact Peter pattern as my dogs have. Yeah. Even though they had their nails trimmed yesterday. So, yeah. But you know. Dogs on wooden floor. Demetrius. Chickens? Yeah, we have chickens. We love them. They are funny. And sweet. And stupid, very stupid, oh my god. Not a single brain cell inside. But it's very fun because we also started free-ranging them. So whenever you go out the front door, the chickens come running because they expect treats from you. So we had some fun experiences with some delivery people who come, drop our boxes, and they get out from their cars and the chickens come running. So yeah, I love chickens. Whisper says, also hydrate yourself. Yes, I drank. I took care of everything. It was a very productive 10 minutes. I hope you also hydrate yourself, everyone. Please chug one from me. Demetrius says, I shall feed my cat. Yes, I hope you fed your cat. Big Boy says, snoring intensifies. Yeah, always. Oh, they are. Pugs are so nosy. Noisy. Not really nosy, it's more like the lack of the nose. Sajbir says, my dog with their dry food at least. With wet they would be brawling. Yeah, well, these guys only get dry food, with some toppings on them, which varies. Like sometimes it's like ham, sometimes it's eggs or rice, so you know, we keep that mixed up, but like, yeah, if you have the right topping that they like, they will just inhale it. But if it's just the dry food, then yeah, they will have to check out what the other one has. So. Rose is asking, that's kind of cool. So you guys get free eggs? Yeah, basically. I mean, technically free. Yeah, I mean, the chickens, you know, cost money to, like, you know, feed them and all that stuff. So we put in the work and a little bit of money, but yeah, we get eggs. I just brought in 2 fresh eggs actually, so that's not that many. Right now they are in that weird fall limbo where they are losing like a bunch of their feathers, you know, so they can get prepared for the winter. It's basically the shedding version of chicken. There's a word for that, molting, I think, with chickens. Yeah, I think it's called molting. So yeah, there's like feathers everywhere in our backyard. Like it literally looks like several pillows had exploded under our porch and in the backyard. So it's very messy. And they are not laying as many eggs right now as during the summer, but yeah, it's a lot of eggs. Like we can even sell some, so it's pretty cool. Big Boy says, whenever a streamer leaves or takes a break, I put snoring intensifies as my own strange me. Oh, okay, I thought that it was for the pugs. I feel like snoring intensifies is our life here. Because there's always snoring. Pro says, I know some people who have chickens and I hear their chicken stories sometimes. Yeah, like, chickens are fun. Like, you know, they are kind of low maintenance. But you know, you still need to take care of like a bunch of stuff, and they are just fun. I really like them. Okay, what do I want to do here? still wanna fix up some parts before I start coloring. I'm gonna go back and change Yang's neck actually. Like I feel like that turned out too thin. Like it's a Hercules EU, she can be a little bit more buff. Big Boy says, I also think about snoring when the streamer is in a break. Yeah, that's fair. I can see that. Well, in this house, we don't need a break to hear snoring. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Still not 100% happy with how things look here. Part of me really wants to just move over to the coloring, but also it's so much easier to fix everything while you're at the line arts than later on. Of course, if I had a better sketch, line art would have been easier, but I like to play stupid games and win stupid prizes. I feel like I want to move things around a little bit here with her hands. It feels so stiff. Oh my lord. You guys just came in! This is very, very ugly inking. Don't do it like me. I feel like I kinda got spoiled with the digital. But now I can just retry my inking lines every time. Definitely did not have that luxury with traditional. Figure this out. More like this. And this is why you're supposed to use reference images and proper sketching. Don't do it like me. Savage Beer says, I remember working on line art for my character sheet and I didn't do it on a vector layer, so I had to start all the way over. Oof. Yeah. That sucks. Yeah. Like, you know, like depending on what you're working on, you might be fine with the raster layer. Like, I had that problem several times too. But like, it's still easier to not have to redraw it. But it really depends on what stuff you're working on. Obviously, it's better if you can just double check yourself. Still not happy. Maybe... I feel like maybe this one should be a little bit narrower. I don't know. We're gonna try. Eventually I will get it right. Crow's asking, Sunny, how do you reuse titles for your covers? I'm struggling trying to figure that out. I don't want to end up redrawing it over and over. Oh, hold on just a sec, I just got a message from my wife. Still has 23 minutes of work left, so F in chat for her. So, oh, so you mean the title logo? Well, the easiest thing is to have like a separate file for your title logo. For example, hold on. Where is it? Fun fact, I don't have the Saigami title logos, so I'm kind of screwed there, but you know. For example, for Killshot, I just have my title logo. Now this is the CSP file, so nope, wrong file. This is the PNG. Hold on, I know files. Yes. Okay, so I just save my logo as like a PNG file with a transparent background. And then I can just copy paste it on whatever picture I want. Like, you know, you just take it, copy, and paste. And then you can use it wherever you want. So that's what you should have. Just do your logo, do it on a clean file, make sure it's a transparent PNG as you save it. Or you can even like merge the layers from a CSP file and just like copy from there. I personally like to like save it as a PNG because then I can use it easier and it's less of a file size. And then you can just reuse it. And you can do this with not just your title logos, but like a bunch of elements. Like say if you have like a character who has like a certain design element on their clothing or a tattoo or something like that, just do it once, create a template, and yeah, then you can just copy paste it and you don't have to redraw and redraw and redraw it again. Like I do that with like certain things that you just need it once and then you can just reuse it. Heck, I've seen like videos of webtoon artists who literally do this with like face and hair, and it's like a copy paste fest when it comes to drawing. Of course, you know, that's due to the insane deadlines. So yeah, but like that's like insane when you see that they are just copy pasting depending on the angle, and it's kind of smart, you know. I still kind of like to draw when it comes to like hair and face and all, because it just feels a little bit more organic. But admittedly, I use copy paste sometimes. Like, you know, if it's like the same shot of the character, there's no reason for you to have to redraw it again. You can just change the necessary details Like, say, you know, you have a character looking in a certain way in a panel, but like in 2 pages later, or, you know, even like a chapter later, or several chapters later, if it's the same kind of angle, just reuse it, change, like, you know, the expression of the character, the background, you name it, just play around. Like, your artworks are your assets too, so you just need to work with them smart. There's nothing stopping you from reusing content. Chris says, oh my god, thank you, because I made a mistake. Yeah, please don't keep redrawing it all the time. Just create the asset folder for yourself and just reuse stuff like that. Okay. The hand is starting to get better. I need to fix up the pinky, so I'm gonna go back there. Oh, wrong tool. Okay, never mind. Going back here. Okay, now we're good. The Matthews is asking, do you have any hobbies other than drawing? Yeah. I like to play video games. I'm definitely not a gamer or anything. I really like Pokemon games. I really like Digimon games. And I really like farming sims like Stardew Valley or Story of Seasons. Those things. Stardew Valley is my current hyperfixation. I kinda play every night. You know, not much. Like, usually I just do like one in-game day because I don't really have the time. But I feel like I need that for my just winding down routine. So I really like that. Other hobbies. I mean, you know, I like to watch stuff and read things. Recently didn't have too much time for that, because things have been a little bit busy. Trying to think of. I used to cosplay. That used to be a big hobby. I haven't done it in a couple years now, and it's something I really miss, so maybe eventually I will get back into cosplaying. I also like to watch sports every now and then. I really like volleyball, of course. I will watch soccer too. I'm not as crazy about it anymore. But yeah, I also really like baseball. So those are sports that I will watch. I'm not saying that, you know, like I'm not really like following any team like religiously or anything like that. But every now and then I really like to. And of course, I tend to have my hyperfixation phases. I actually have ADHD, which I had no idea about for 30 some years, but here we are. So every now and then I get a hyperfixation and I get a new hobby that I learn everything about, get to a point where I have everything to do it, and then the hyperfixation fades and I never do it again. My previous hyperfixation was acrylics, and I actually did quite a few acrylics painting, and I really wanted to get into it, and then the hyperfixation faded, so now I'm sitting on a bunch of brushes and acrylics. And everyone is expecting me to paint something for them, for, you know, birthday, Christmas, you name it, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really feel like that anymore. So yeah, I tend to have fading hobbies every now and then. Savage Reader says, yeah, it took me a few days to relearn that stuff. I finally settled on a logo design, and I'm not sure if you got to see it in the Discord, Sunny. I'm not sure. I will have to recheck it. I haven't really been keeping up too well with Discord and social media, so That's on me. I really need to do better. I'm like the worst server owner. Like I always want to do more with the server, and then I just never get to there. But hopefully, maybe soon, one day, I can do better. I'm trying. Emmett buddy. There are no more chickens out there. There's no reason for you to be out there. He desperately wants to go out just to bark at the air. Or passing cars. That's his hobby. That drives me crazy all day. Okay, I'm gonna let him out. Big Boy says, Nintendo loves farming games. They sure do, and I love that for them. You know, not all farming games, all for me. I really prefer the farming games that are like on the relaxy side. Like, I've been eyeing with Rune Factory, for example, but I feel like that's like a bit combat heavy for me, and I just prefer my farming games for the farming. Like, that's my jam. I just want the relaxing, chilling vibes, and not necessarily the combat. Like, I used to be really into Animal Crossing too, because yeah, that was just pure relaxing and just chilling vibes. So I really like that one. You know what? I know where it's weird. The thumb is kind of too small. And this area is kind of too bulky. I figure it out eventually. Like, ever has that happened to you, that like, you know that something is wrong but you just cannot figure out what? I find it that sometimes it can be like so frustrating, and oftentimes that's where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step away from this drawing for a little bit until I can like come back to it with a fresh eye. Come on, work with me. Oh, okay. I don't like that. I can wait for you, Clip Studio. Just take your time. There we go. That was fun. Demetrius says, random hyperfixations are very relatable. I just go all in on something and then drop it just as fast. Yeah, that's me too. Big Boy. Wait, you said ADHD? Yep. Just been diagnosed this year. It would have been nice to know it earlier, but, you know. It is what it is. Now I know, and I can do wonders now. Like, it just explains a lot, and like, I kind of wish I had known it sooner. Like, I'm trying to not to think about what ifs too much, but you know, it oh, you want to go out too? Okay. So yeah, it just puts everything in perspective, and like, now I understand a bunch of things that I did not understand, or like, you know, I just thought that, you know, it was a shortcoming of mine or something, and it turns out that nope, my brain is just kind of wired differently. But yeah, it really helps with a lot of things that I understand now, how things work about myself, so that's really nice. And it's surprising how much better I can do things when I actually get the medication for it, so yeah. Like, for the first time in my life, after 30 some years, I learned that it's not normal to feel like your brain is like 17 different radio stations playing at the same time. And I thought that was normal. And yeah, then I have my first medications and it's like radio silence in my brain, and I never had that before, so that was incredible. Crow says, I can kind of relate. I'm autistic, so I hyperfixate on a lot of stuff. Yeah. I think that hyperfixation is a very common factor with a lot of like neurodivergent people. So I didn't even know really that I was hyperfixating on things. I just figured that, oh, I just cannot decide on hobbies or something. Like, oh, I was so clueless. Hey, better late than never, I guess. HBR says, oh my god, yes, the post for Jirakyu's character sheet was driving me crazy, and it was all in the arms. Yeah, like, sometimes it's just hard to find what exactly is wrong. Like, of course, that's when maybe it's good to have like a second pair of eyes, send it to someone to look at it. Or you can just go on it alone and eventually hope that you figure it out. Still not too crazy about the hands, but I think this is at the phase where I am willing to make changes later. Even though it will be probably a hassle to change things later with the coloring already applied, but right now I feel like I'm starting to hit that wall, but I'm like, I'm not sure if I can figure out what exactly is wrong. Alright. So now comes the part. Nope, not that one, that one. Okay. I'm gonna make my sketch layer disappear. Big Boy says, I searched up ADHD and I'm confused on what it's saying. I mean, depends on what you found. ADHD... How the hell do I... meantime, our cats are seeing some moths outside, so they are jumping up and down on the patio door. So if you hear some tongs and weird huds, that's just the cats having fun. So yeah, how do I define ADHD? Like, easily, I'm not an expert. And like, depending on like what site you look up, there can be so many like definitions. Like, it used to be like they used to like differentiate ADHD and ADD, and now it's like, well, it's actually not like that. So yeah, it's I'm not sure how to explain it. There's a good channel on it though. Shoot, what's the name of the channel actually? I follow a YouTube channel where this lady who's also has ADHD, and she's got like really good informal videos. I wonder if I can find her channel. I just wish I remember what the channel name is. Nope. Can't find it. But yeah, it's you know, it's a thing. It's very different with each people. Like, you know, some other people might have completely different symptoms or experiences as me. Was like, you know, some symptoms are like very similar with people, like, you know, like I'm so bad with terminology. But like, you know, there are some common factors, like basically my brain kind of lacks certain... God, I'm so terrible at this. My brain lacks certain chemicals, I guess. Do I say it like that? I don't know. So it works a little bit differently, and it's like, yeah. You know, if you're interested, you can find some very good informal sites or videos explaining it a little bit better, or way better than I can. It's pretty vast because, like, you know, there's like a lot of factors. Like, I'm still learning a lot of things about ADHD myself, to be frank, because, you know, I did not know about it. I was just the gifted child growing up, and of course I had some behavioral problems. Like, you know, I was not necessarily hyperactive, but like I was the kid in class who, you know, will like shout in answers, who cannot sit still, who was just like a little bit overly active, but like I was still like a good student, so surely there's no problem with me. Especially since I was born a girl, and when I was a kid, girls usually didn't get diagnosed with ADHD because it was thought that it's only a boy's thing. So yeah, it's very interesting that it's something that I learned as an adult, that, oh shit, this was there all along and no one noticed it, and I had no idea that I had this issue. And it surely made several aspects of my life tricky. Be it like, you know, focusing in school, getting things done, and a lot of things, and you know, even later on with work, or heck, even today, you know, with like scheduling things. So it's very, very interesting to learn all these things and like how to deal with them. Sagebear says, oh dear, I wonder if I have that, because I wound up thinking 20 different things at once, or maybe I'm just a chronic overthinker. Well, I would recommend that maybe look into it, and you never know. Apparently it's more frequent than you would think. So yeah, you never know. Like, it's kind of funny because before I was diagnosed, my niece got diagnosed as well, and I'm honestly pretty sure my sister has it too. We were just never diagnosed. And then I talked with my cousin, and she's like, actually, I'm pretty sure I have it too. So, you know, it's more common. It's just people usually didn't get diagnosed, especially women. Do I have everything? No. Okay. Now we're gonna color at last. Nope. I forgot to press the inverse button. There we go. Sissy says, "Hey Sunny, glad I could catch some of the stream." Well, hello Sissy, nice to see you here. So isn't it like super late for you? Like, I'm very happy that you're here, but please get some sleep too. Crow says, "My sister has ADHD, so I understand." Yeah. Whisper says, "I'm gonna hop off. Thank you for the stream, Sunny. Hope you all have an awesome day and stay safe." Aw, thank you for being here, and you too have a great day. Alright. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a folder. So this is what I do for coloring. I might make a video on this, like a proper tutorial, but in the meantime I'm also gonna explain. So what I do is I create this white layer under the character's line art. Now I can actually turn back the white layer, or the background, or I can even change the color for that, which I probably will. But what I'm gonna do is I'm creating a folder above this white layer for the characters and make that whole folder a clipping mask. And this is a folder where my colors will be in. So now if I want to color anything, it's gonna stay over the characters. So that's really cool. It's basically like a clipping mask. It's just I like to do it with folders because then later on I can just clip layers above the folder, and that could be my shading layers and the highlight layers. And I find that this is like a pretty efficient way for me to color. So in case you didn't know this trick, now you know. Well, like I said, I probably will make like a proper tutorial as well. Okay, and now I need a reference image for the colors, so give me a second. I need to find my Bumblebee artworks. Which one has good colors for this? If I was smart, I would create a reference sheet that has my base colors. But I'm not that smart. So what kind of colors I want? Maybe I will start with the background here, like just apply like a general background color. Is this the reference? Okay, yeah. Oh, actually I can close the Killshot logo. We don't need that. Okay, so we will have this bluish background. And I'm gonna create like a separate folder for my background. Is this right? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna use an airbrush here. Ooh, that's huge. Actually, no, it's just over that one. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm doing. Creating a little bit of a gradient. And I need to let the pugs in. Oh, Lord. Okay, I am back. Sissy says, it's not too bad, bedtime varies. It's okay though, I can have a little sleep in tomorrow. Oh right, it's Friday, oh my god. Yeah, okay. I'm relieved to hear that. Please sleep in. Crow says, oh yes, I have multiple folders for coloring. Yeah, folders are wonderful. I love folders so much. Okay, and I'm gonna pick that color and that color. We're gonna make some happy little clouds. Once I can find my cloud brush. Yeah, okay. This is so cheaty. I love these cloud brushes. Oop. Okay, that was a notification. I wanna use a different one. No, this is fine. Maybe just use a smaller one for the... I still need to get some of my brushes in this Clip Studio. Like I know I used to have Yume's cloud brushes, and those are so good. Oh my god, her artworks with clouds and everything is just gorgeous. So I really love those cloud brushes. And these are pretty good too. These are from the Flyland set. I'm pretty sure I did recommend that brush set before on the channel, so if you're looking for brush sets, that one is a pretty good one. Okay, and now I can color the bees. At first I still need my reference image that I never found, so just give me a minute. Emmet, why are we barking inside? I really need to organize my folders. I'm just looking and looking and looking and not finding the right stuff. One that has the right colors, but it's an NSFW artwork, so definitely not gonna put that on stream. Oh lord. Okay, I think I'm gonna use this one. Not perfect, but I can roll with this one. Oh, this is unfinished. Okay, never mind. Oh, that works. I can get the flats at least. Crow's asking, there's cloud brushes? I was just using multiple tools to draw clouds. Yup, there are several cloud brushes. I really like this one from Flyland. This is the Cloud Builder with Blend. So it blends and builds clouds, and it's really cool. But also, like, all of these are like cloud brushes. Like, actually, let me... Like, you can even have like cloud strips. Yeah, I don't really like that one, but like, yeah, all sorts of cloud brushes. Hard edges, more foggy stuff. You can get all sorts of things. Like, I'm pretty sure Clip Studio has a bunch of different cloud brushes. This Flyland brush set, these are originally Photoshop brushes. That you can like buy as like a separate pack. This one has like all sorts of, like, all of these are like sky brushes, foliage, all sorts of things, various inking brushes and all. And like pretty much nowadays you can find a brush for everything, which, you know, can make your work easier, but also sometimes you don't necessarily want to rely on brushes. Like, I find it that with certain things, Clip Studio made me a little bit too comfortable. Like, you know, I just need to draw whatever, and my first thought is like, oh, I need to go up in Clip Studio and see if they have a brush or a 3D model for that, and it's like, no, I really don't need that. Like, I can draw a glass on my own, thank you very much. Like, it's just, I got so used to some shortcuts and cheats that it's like, I don't necessarily need a 3D model for everything, and I don't necessarily need a brush to draw everything, so yeah, you want to have like a healthy ratio of what you draw and what you use brushes for. But yeah, things like clouds, like you can find really cool brushes, and of course after that you can do like your own stuff. Like, I still will work on these blushes, like, you know, blurring them a little bit and giving them a little bit of softer edges and all that stuff. So there's plenty of things you can do. But also, you don't necessarily want to do everything by yourself all the time. Like, especially if it's something time-consuming. You know, always want to work smart, not just hard. Sissy says, bees! Yep. Love them bees. I miss them so much. Legendary bark, Big Boy says. Yeah. I just really wish he wouldn't bark all the time. He's just a very, very, very insecure dog. So he kinda needs to bark all the time. Or he feels like he needs to bark. Like cars, birds, leaves, anything, honestly. Like, sometimes I don't even know he knows what he's barking at. Nope, nope, let's go back. There we go. Savage Bear says there's brushes for clouds, trees, even water texture brushes, which I'm over. Here, anxiously waiting for my next background piece to try them out. Yep, pretty much you can find brushes for almost everything. You know, I'm not saying that all of them are like perfect or great. Like, I had some hit or miss brushes, and you know, sometimes it's like, it's just easier to do it yourself, or it's just better, especially if you like want a certain result. So, you know, but yeah, like, so many things you can find brushes for. CC says, gosh, this hiatus is just too much. Yeah, oh my god, it really is. It's just so long. Just give us the crumbs, please. Like, sure, I'm very, very, very happy that we got the movie and all, and I'm very excited to see it. But it's been so long. Like, I know it's gonna be worth the wait, but still. I actually need to go back to the line art here and fix things up, because I just realized that this ear shouldn't be over here. Yep. Sometimes you realize things as you color. And that's okay. Alright. Yeah, that's better. Aaron Johnson says hi. Well, hello. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do, since I wanted to change the colors, what's the original color? That's not bad though. Not 100% blackish, so I'm gonna figure out something here. Oh, I know what I want. I want the bandana color. Yeah, let's go with this purple. And probably I might change the colors later, but for now I can just play around a little bit. Ian Johnson askings, how your day? Pretty good. Been a busy day. Been working on several stuff and still has to work on a lot more. So it's probably gonna be one of those days when I will be working late at night too. Probably not on stream, but it will still happen. But yeah, apart from that, I'm doing okay. I'm happy with the progress I've been making. So slowly but surely catching up on everything. How is everyone else's day going? Do we want it more bluish? Or more purplish? Or maybe pinkish? I know what I'm doing. Okay, for now, I'm just gonna create a separate layer for it. And just make it darker. Yeah, something like that. I probably will change it later, but for now, it's good enough. God, this comic page feels like forever ago. It was my page for the... well, for my first Bumblebee Big Bang. Maybe that was the first Big Bang? Was there a Big Bang before? I can't remember. Oh, I have a kitty cat. I'm not sure if you guys can hear him jingling. He's very loving right now. I also hope that he stays away from my PC. Yesterday, the cats discovered that they can actually be on top of my PC. And it's very nice and warm. And that's okay. The only problem is that my power button is on the top of my PC. So as the cat was chilling and he decided to move on, he stepped on the power button and shut down my PC while I was dropping. So thank God for autosave on Clip Studio, but still was not fun. Crow says, I'm recovering. I got sick yesterday, which sucks because I wanted to get some more done. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. Please make sure to hydrate and get some rest. Oh, I forgot her ear. Demetrius says, I love that background. Oh, thank you. It's coming along. Actually, I'm gonna go back here, and I don't necessarily need this gap here. It can just be hair. Yeah. Savage Bear says, my day is good. Had the cheesiest smile on my face when we talked earlier, and I've been sketching since the stream started. Oh, good, good. Stay productive. CC says, day's going good, got some brain sparks for writing today, so I'm hammering those out tonight until I run out of steam. Ooh, that sounds exciting. Get that writing out. So many of the spots to fill. It's still faster than my old coloring methods. Like, I can't believe there used to be a time when I would just color everything with brushes. Just like, so slow, just go around the edges first and then, like, with a bigger brush fill everything in. And it took forever to color anything. And this method is so much faster. Demetrius says, I just got my wisdom teeth taken out the other day. I'm suffering. I'm so tired of eating soup. Oh, buddy. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel your pain. I actually just had my wisdom teeth taken out a month ago. So I know what you're going through. Oh, I'm so sorry. But I promise you it will be better soon, and then you can eat again, and that's gonna be so nice, and it's gonna be like the best meal of your life. Yeah. Wisdom teeth extraction sucks. Although the whole process was fun, like, they knocked me out so well, I was out. Yeah, I apparently promised the nurse that I'm gonna give them a good Yelp review for it. So yeah, fun times. But yeah, like, the aftermath is not fun, so. Remember how I'm supposed to do this. I feel like this is mostly... Yeah. Okay. I am remembering things slowly. Oh wow. That was a big one. have to go and fix up the colors later. Because I'm not 100% sure about the deeds I'm doing here. Something along those lines. Okay. We're making progress. So just allow me to check. So at last, my wife is free from work. So I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream now, so I can start preparing some dinner. Yeah. But at least I made some good progress here. Like, honestly, I was kind of optimistic in the beginning because I honestly thought that I can finish up inking and coloring this one in the stream, and clearly I did not. I definitely made the mistake of not refining my sketch enough, because there were some mistakes here and there, and that would have been so much easier to fix in the sketch phase than in the inking phase, so that's on me. But still, I'm getting there. Like, this is now the easy part. Like, I feel like coloring is where it's gonna get, like, just fast and easy. Minus the flats. The flats are always a hassle. But like shading and adding the light sources and all that's like the best part. That's easy stuff. But yeah, I was so hoping that I could finish this in the stream. Or maybe I will record the rest of it and use it for a video. Because I feel like this would be a fun one. But yeah, thank you very much for coming today. I'm working on some more videos, so new video will drop very soon. I have several recorded, just needs editing. So I don't think I will drop a video during the weekend because my weekend looks a little bit busy. But maybe on Monday or Tuesday I can drop one. Definitely, at least one video is coming next week. And I might try to stream one more time next week too. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on how our plans go. Because next week is my birthday, so we might have plans for it or not. I don't know. If not, I might have a birthday stream and we can party together. I don't know. I will figure it out. So yeah. Yeah, I'm always terrible at finishing days, but thank you very much for being here with me today. It's just super fun. I really enjoyed talking to y'all. And yeah, stay tuned. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and have this channel grow. I really appreciate it. And yeah, don't forget you can find me as Saigami Project on literally every platform. And yeah. Thank you very much for joining me for this stream, and I will see you soon in my next video or in my next stream. Please stay safe, stay hydrated, and keep on creating and all that fun stuff. Just keep on being you. Have fun. Take care, everyone. Thank you for coming, joining the stream today.